The alien armada moved through the dark space, thousands of ships gliding in silent formation. Their metal hulls reflected the faint light of distant stars as they drew closer to a small blue planet. It was quiet, almost peaceful, but every alien on board knew what was coming. This was no ordinary mission. It was the invasion of Earth. On the flagship Vorthal Prime, Commander Zarin stood tall before a wide glass window, watching Earth grow larger. His face was calm, but his mind was sharp and filled with confidence. "So this is humanity," he said quietly. "A small, reckless species that dares to claim a seat among the stars." His second officer, Taral, nodded. "Their defenses are weak, Commander. Our scanners detect only a few satellites and some small orbital stations. No warships." Zarin gave a small grin. "Then it will be over quickly. Prepare the broadcast. The humans will surrender before we fire a single shot." But before they could transmit the message, something strange appeared on their long-range scanners. A flicker of energy, faint but powerful, pulsed from behind the moon. The room grew silent. "Report," Zarin ordered. Terrell's hands moved quickly over the control panels. "Unknown signature. It's not natural. Massive energy spike. Wait. It's moving." Zarin frowned. "Moving from where?" The officer swallowed. "From the far side of the moon, sir. It's heading toward us." Every eye on the bridge turned to the central display as the object came into view. At first it looked like a shadow, huge, distant, and shapeless. But as it rotated into the light, the bridge fell silent. It was a ship, larger than any they had ever seen. Its hull gleamed with white light covered in thousands of glowing lines. The sheer size of it dwarfed even the Vorthal Prime. What is that?" one of the officers whispered. No one answered. Their scanners tried to lock onto it, but the readings made no sense. Its power output was beyond anything in their database. Then a voice echoed through the bridge, calm and clear, cutting through the silence. "This is the Terran defense vessel Titan-Class 001. You are entering a restricted defense zone. Turn back immediately." The voice was human. It spoke without anger, without fear, only certainty. Zarin's expression turned cold. "So this is humanity's answer. A single ship against an armada." He let out a dry laugh. "Fire a warning volley. Let them see the power of the Vorthal Dominion." The order went out. A dozen alien cruisers locked their cannons and fired. Blue plasma bolts streaked across space, lighting the void. The shots hit the massive ship and vanished. No explosions, no sound, only a ripple of light across the warship's white hull, as if space itself absorbed the attack. The bridge fell into a shocked silence. "Direct hits. No damage detected," an officer reported in disbelief. Zarin's voice grew sharp. "Increase power. Fire again!" More bolts flew, brighter and stronger. Again they vanished without effect. Then the mysterious ship began to move. Slowly, majestically, it turned to face them. Its engines glowed like miniature suns. As it rotated, enormous weapon ports opened along its sides, revealing the full might of humanity's creation. One of the alien officers gasped. "Sir, that thing, it's targeting us." Zarin clenched his claws. "Hold formation. It's bluffing." Then a beam of golden light erupted from the Titan's main cannon. It did not hit them directly. Instead, it passed through the space between their front-line ships. The energy wave that followed threw hundreds of vessels out of position, their shields collapsing under the pressure. On the Vorthal Prime, alarm screamed. Sparks flew across the bridge. "Commander, our shields are down." "We've lost 2 cruisers." Zarin gripped the edge of his chair. "That was a warning shot," he muttered. His voice trembled just slightly. Meanwhile, inside the Titan, Captain Alara Hayes stood calmly at the command center. Her crew waited for her command, eyes wide but steady. "Status report," she said. "Shield stable. Energy core at full capacity. Alien fleet disoriented," her officer replied. Hayes nodded. "Transmit again." The same message echoed through every alien frequency. "You are in violation of Earth's defense perimeter. Withdraw now." Back on the Vorthal Prime, Zarin's jaw tightened. Impossible. No species that young should have this power. He turned toward Taral. "How long have the humans had such technology?" "Unknown, Commander," the officer replied softly. "But the ship's design suggests centuries of hidden development. They've been preparing for this." Zarin fell silent, staring at the glowing human ship before him. For the first time, doubt crept into his mind. The Titan did not pursue them, did not attack. It simply waited like a silent guardian watching over Earth. "What are they hiding down there?" he whispered. No one answered. The humans aboard the Titan observed quietly as the alien fleet began to retreat. Their sensors showed the enemy ships turning away, their formations breaking apart. Hayes finally exhaled. "They won't return soon," she said. Her second officer looked at her. "Captain, what if they do?" She looked at the planet below, the home she was sworn to protect. "Then," she said softly, "we show them that Earth has more than one Titan." Outside, the ship remained still, glowing faintly against the stars. To the rest of the galaxy, it was a legend, a myth, but to humanity it was a promise. And as the alien fleet disappeared into the distance deep within the Titan's core, a second energy pulse began to awaken. Something greater was waiting, something the galaxy had not yet seen. The alien fleet retreated beyond Earth's orbit, their engines burning bright trails against the dark. Commander Jaron sat silently in his command chair, eyes locked on the massive human warship that still hovered like a mountain in the sky. None of his officers spoke. The bridge felt heavy, filled with the quiet fear of soldiers who had seen something they could not explain. For the first time in years, Jaron didn't feel in control. He stared at the holographic projection of the human vessel, its white surface glowing softly, its energy readings far beyond anything known. "What kind of species hides such power?" he muttered. His second officer, Terrell, finally found his voice. "Commander, our scans confirm that the energy output of that vessel exceeds our entire fleet's combined reactors." "It's impossible." Jaron turned sharply. "Impossible? Then explain it." Terrell hesitated. "There is only one answer. The humans. They've been preparing for this moment for centuries. That ship was not built recently. It's ancient, but far more advanced than anything we've seen." Across the command bridge, the crew exchanged uneasy glances. Ancient? The humans were barely a century into space travel. Jaron clenched his fists. "Transmit all recordings to the High Council. Tell them the humans possess a Titan-Class Warship." Back on Earth, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the human defense network buzzed with activity. Inside a vast underground command chamber, walls of screens displayed real-time visuals of the alien fleet withdrawing. Scientists, engineers, and military officers worked in unison, their faces lit by the cool glow of holographic maps. Captain Alara Hayes' face appeared on the main monitor. "This is Titan Command. Alien forces are retreating. No further aggression detected." A cheer rippled through the control room, but it was short-lived. The old general overseeing the operation, Admiral Grant, raised a hand. "Don't celebrate yet. They'll be back. And when they do, they'll come with more ships." Alara's expression remained calm. "Then we'll be ready, Admiral." Titan performed exactly as designed. The old man nodded slowly. "Yes, but it wasn't supposed to wake this early. The Titan was meant to stay in deep orbit unseen for another decade." Alara looked down for a moment, her voice quiet. "We didn't have a choice. Their fleet outnumbered every defense platform we have. If we hadn't activated Titan, Earth would already be burning." Above Earth, inside the colossal warship, the crew worked tirelessly. Engineers monitored the glowing conduits that pulsed along the ship's core, while scientists analyzed the strange energy signature the Titan had released during its activation. Lieutenant Keller leaned over his console. "Captain, the fusion core readings are stable, but there's something else. Deep within the ship's primary system, something old has reawakened." Alara frowned. "Define old." Keller hesitated. "Older than the Titan itself. The core systems are rewriting protocols we didn't install. It's like the ship is remembering something." Alara stared at the massive reactor display. The Titan had always been a mystery, even to those who built it. Rumors said it wasn't fully human-made. Some believed fragments of alien technology had been discovered decades ago and used as its foundation. Whatever the truth was, the ship was now alive in a way no one understood. "Keep it under observation," she ordered quietly, "and restrict access to the core. No one goes near it until we know what's happening." Meanwhile, across the void, the alien fleet regrouped beyond the moon's orbit. Dozens of damaged ships drifted slowly, repairing themselves. The mood was tense and bitter. Officers whispered about the human vessel, calling it the ghost of Earth. Sharon walked through the damaged corridors of his ship, the smell of burnt circuits in the air. His communication officer approached. Commander, the Council demands a report. Geron stopped. Tell them I'll speak directly. He stepped into the hollow chamber. Moments later, the shimmering forms of the Vorthal High Council appeared before him, tall, elegant figures with glowing eyes. Commander Geron, one of them began coldly, you promised us victory. Instead, you return with defeat and shame. Geron bowed his head. It was not weakness, High Lords, it was something beyond our knowledge. The humans have a weapon, no, a fortress, a Titan-Class Warship that defies every law of physics we know. The chamber filled with murmurs. One elder leaned forward. Describe it. Geron's voice was quiet. It emits enough power to tear through space itself. Our sensors could not even calculate its limits. It fired once and half our fleet lost control. It could destroy us all if it wished. The council members looked at one another. Then the humans are not the primitive species we believed. Geron met their gaze. No, they are something else. Something older. Something patient. Silence followed, heavy and uneasy. Finally, the eldest counselor spoke. You will observe them. Learn everything about this Titan-class weapon. If they possess one, they might have more. We must know before we act again. Geron nodded, his eyes cold. I understand. Back on the Titan, Captain Hayes stood before the massive viewing window, watching the stars beyond. The ship was quiet now, its systems humming softly. She could see Earth's lights twinkling far below, peaceful and unaware of how close destruction had come. Her communication officer turned to her. Captain, global channels are picking up rumors. The public is asking about the light show in the sky. Alara gave a small smile. Let them think it was just another satellite test. The truth will stay classified. She turned away, her reflection shimmering against the glass. But they should know, she murmured to herself, that Earth is no longer helpless. As she walked toward the bridge doors, the ship's lights flickered for a brief second. Deep in the core, a low, rhythmic pulse echoed through the metal corridors like a heartbeat. The engineers stared at their screens in confusion. The ship is responding to something, Keller said. Alara paused, sensing it too. Responding to what? Keller looked uneasy. Not what, Captain? Who? The hum grew stronger, resonating through the hull like a whisper from another age. Outside, far across the galaxy, a faint signal stirred. An ancient response awakening to the Titan's call. The galaxy had noticed. And soon it would answer. The galaxy had gone silent. No one dared to send another fleet toward Earth after the first encounter. The word Titan spread through every star system, whispered like a myth. Some believed it was a weapon. Others said it was a living machine. But in truth, no one knew what it really was except the humans. Deep inside the Terran Defense Headquarters, Captain Alara Hayes stood in front of a massive holographic display. A projection of the solar system rotated slowly, showing red marks blinking near Jupiter's orbit. We have movement again, said Lieutenant Keller, breaking the silence. Unknown vessels entering the system from deep space. Not Vorthal signatures this time, Alara frowned. How many? 6 large ships, possibly scouts but heavily armed. The Admiral's voice came over the comm line. They're testing us. The Vorthal Council wants to see if the Titan was just luck or a real threat. Alara crossed her arms. Then let's remind them why they ran. Moments later, the Titan began to move. From its silent orbit above Earth, its engines lit up again, glowing like twin suns. The ship turned slowly, graceful but terrifying, and accelerated toward the outer system. Every movement echoed with power. Civilian satellites went dark for minutes as the Titan passed. Inside the alien scout fleet, panic spread the moment their sensors detected the approaching energy wave. Commander! The human vessel, it's coming straight for us. Their leader, Captain Ralvec, clenched his claws around his console. Maintain formation. We are only observing. They wouldn't dare attack first. But when the Titan emerged from hyperspace, their confidence vanished. The ship filled their entire view screen. White metal shining, energy lines glowing brighter than stars. They sent that for 6 ships? One alien muttered, his voice shaking. Ralvec swallowed hard. Open communications. A calm human voice answered instantly. This is Titan Command. You are trespassing inside the Terran defense perimeter. Identify yourself or retreat immediately. The alien captain took a breath. We come under order of the Galactic Council. We demand explanation for the weapon you unleashed. Alara's voice came through the static. You invaded our home. You fired first. We defended ourselves. If that requires explanation, consider this your warning. Before Ralvek could respond, the Titan's weapon systems hummed. Blue light ran across its surface like liquid fire. The alien sensors went blind. They're charging something, a crew member shouted, but the blast never came. Instead, a pulse of light expanded outward, a wave of energy that disabled every alien ship's systems instantly. Their engines shut down, their weapons went cold. Every display on every vessel turned black except for a single glowing message written in human language. Do not return. Back on the Titan, silence filled the bridge. Keller exhaled slowly. No casualties. Their systems are fried. They'll drift for hours before rebooting. Alara looked at the screen, watching the alien ships float helplessly. Send them a message capsule. When they recover, they'll find it. What should it say? Keller asked. Tell them this wasn't an attack. It was mercy. Far across the void, the Vorthal Council received the report hours later. The chamber erupted in disbelief. 6 ships neutralized without damage? How? One elder demanded. Jiran stood among them, quiet but burning with anger. The humans warned us once, he said darkly. Now they've warned the entire galaxy. The council's leader hissed. We cannot allow them to hold such power. If humanity controls technology older than the stars, it could threaten every empire. Jiran's eyes narrowed. Then we must uncover where it came from. No direct conflict yet. We'll send infiltrators, find out how they built the Titan. As the council debated, deep beneath Earth's crust in a facility few humans knew existed, scientists worked in silence. A massive metallic sphere floated in the center of a chamber, pulsing with the same blue light as the Titan's core. Dr. Celine Ward watched the readings climb. The Titan's awakening signal is increasing in strength. Whatever it's connected to, it's calling back. Her assistant looked worried. Calling to what? She hesitated, maybe to others like it. In the shadows of the lab, holographic diagrams of ancient symbols rotated slowly. The Titan wasn't just a weapon, it was part of something far greater. Humanity hadn't built it alone. They had found it. Above, on the Titan, Alara stared at the data feed from the core. Captain, Keller said, we're receiving a low-frequency signal from deep space. It matches the Titan's resonance, Alara turned. Show me. A faint pattern appeared on the screen, a repeating rhythm almost like a heartbeat. It came from beyond known space, past the outer edge of the galaxy. Keller looked uneasy. Someone or something is answering the Titan's call. Alara took a slow breath. Keep monitoring it. Don't respond yet. For the first time since the war began, she felt something new, not fear, but curiosity. What if the Titan wasn't humanity's final weapon, but a key to something larger? Down on Earth, the news of the alien retreat spread quietly through military channels. The public remained unaware, their nights peaceful under the same stars that hid silent wars. In the depths of the Titan, the core glowed brighter than ever before. The ship's AI whispered faint tones across the speakers, soft, almost human. Captain, Keller said nervously, the ship is speaking. Alara leaned forward. Translate. The voice came through, calm and ancient. Warning acknowledged. Awaiting further activation. The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Activation of what? Keller asked. Alara didn't answer. She looked at the stars, thinking of the signal echoing from deep space. Something we're not ready for, she whispered. Outside, the Titan drifted silently, a beacon in the darkness. But its message had traveled farther than anyone realized. Across distant galaxies, ancient machines stirred from their long sleep. The warning had been sent. The response was coming. The stars trembled. Across the void, signals echoed back to the Titan, some weak, others strong, all carrying the same pattern. Humanity's warning had reached far beyond what they imagined. In countless forgotten systems, ancient machines woke from deep sleep, their lights flickering after millennia of silence. Something old had heard the Titan's voice, and it was answering. Inside the Titan, Captain Alara Hayes stood on the command deck, her eyes fixed on the holographic map expanding before her. The system display flickered with hundreds of red dots. Multiple energy readings detected, reported Keller. Unknown origins. They're entering from the outer rim, Alara frowned. The same signal pattern? Yes, ma'am. All of them match the Titan's core resonance. The bridge grew quiet. The air felt heavy, as if the ship itself was holding its breath. Are they responding? Or coming for us? One officer asked softly. Alara didn't answer. She looked at the glowing blue lines running across the Titan's walls, pulsing slowly like veins of light. The ship seemed alive, listening, waiting. We'll find out soon, she said. Moments later, the first object appeared on sensors, massive, angular, and moving fast. Then another. And another. Within minutes, dozens of colossal ships surrounded the outer edge of the solar system, each one ancient and unlike anything seen before. Some were made of dark crystal, others of glowing alloy that shimmered like water. They didn't fire. They just watched. On the bridge, Keller whispered, "They're not attacking. They're scanning us." Ilara's voice stayed calm, but her mind raced. "Open a secure channel. Let's see if they can communicate." The screen filled with static, then cleared to reveal a towering figure of light, a projection of an alien form made entirely of energy. Its voice came as a calm vibration, deep and resonant. "Human vessel. Designation Titan-Class. You have awakened the signal. State your purpose." Ilara straightened her posture. "This is Captain Ilara Hayes of Earth. We did not awaken anything intentionally. We only defended our home." The light being paused. "Defended? And yet, you carry the heart of origin within your vessel. It was not meant for your kind." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. "Heart of origin?" Keller murmured. Ilara tried to keep her tone steady. "Then tell me, what is it?" The alien's form flickered, its tone changing. "It is what binds the first civilization. Long before your species walked, the Makers built the Titans to guard the stars. When they vanished, their creation slept. Until now, the bridge fell silent." Ilara felt a chill. "You're saying the Titan wasn't built by us?" "But by them?" "Yes," the being replied. "You merely found what they left behind. And now that it is active, others will come to claim it." Before Ilara could speak, alarms erupted across the bridge. Keller's console flashed red. "Captain, multiple fleets inbound. Vorthal signatures and at least 3 other alien empires. They're converging on our location." Ilara's jaw tightened. "They've detected the activation signal." The alien projection's tone deepened. "Your species stands at a crossroads. Surrender the heart or face extinction." Her crew looked to her, waiting for her command. She didn't hesitate. "We don't surrender." The being's light dimmed. Then the war begins again. And with that, it vanished. Outside, the void erupted. Vorthal dreadnoughts jumped into range, followed by fleets from rival empires. They had all come for the same thing, the Titan. The sky around Earth filled with ships, weapons glowing. For the first time, the Titan was surrounded. "Captain, they're demanding immediate surrender," Keller said. Ilara stared at the holographic display. "Activate full defense grid. Prepare the ion lances. If they fire first, we answer." The air thrummed with tension. Every crew member felt it, the quiet before the storm. Then, without warning, the first barrage came. Plasma beams and kinetic warheads streaked through space, slamming into the Titan's shields. The ship shuddered but held firm. "Shields at 90%. An officer shouted. Ilara gritted her teeth. "Return fire." The Titan's hull came alive with light. Massive cannons extended from its sides, glowing with golden energy. When they fired, the darkness of space turned to daylight. A single beam pierced through 3 enemy ships in one sweep, vaporizing them instantly. Another blast tore through a Vorthal carrier, splitting it in half. But even as the Titan struck back, the enemy numbers kept growing. "We're outnumbered 50-1, Keller warned. Ilara's hands gripped the railing. "Then we make every shot count." The battle raged for hours. Explosions lit up the void, debris fields forming across orbit. The Titan moved with grace and power, its shields flaring with every impact. Inside, sparks rained from damaged conduits, smoke curling through the corridors. Engineers shouted orders, trying to keep the system stable. At one point, Keller turned to Ilara, his voice low. "We can't hold forever," she met his eyes. "We don't need to, just long enough for the world below to prepare." Down on Earth, the skies glowed faintly as fragments of the battle burned in the upper atmosphere. But humanity watched in awe, not fear. They knew who stood between them and destruction. Back in orbit, another wave hit. A massive alien weapon fired a beam straight at the Titan. The impact threw the crew to the floor. "Shields failing," Keller shouted. Ilara wiped blood from her lip, pulling herself back up. "Divert all power to the core. Charge the main lance. Ma'am, the core is unstable." "Do it." The ship's lights dimmed. Energy surged through the Titan's veins, glowing brighter than before. The massive forward cannon opened, its interior shining like a small star. Alara gave the final command, "Fire!" A blinding beam erupted from the Titan, sweeping across the battlefield. The energy tore through hundreds of ships, leaving only silence in its wake. When the light faded, the sky was clear. The fleets were gone, but the ship was silent too. Smoke filled the bridge. Systems flickered weakly. Keller coughed through the haze. "Captain, we won." Alara stood slowly, looking at the stars. "No," she whispered. This was only the beginning. Outside, the Titan drifted, damaged but alive. And deep within its core, the ancient light pulsed stronger than ever, as if awakening to a greater purpose. Somewhere beyond the edge of the galaxy, something vast was moving, something older than the Titans themselves. The true war had just begun. The Titan drifted in orbit, surrounded by the silence of victory. The battlefield was gone. Only wreckage and drifting hulls remained, glowing faintly in sunlight. Earth's blue surface shone below like a calm ocean after a storm. But inside the ship there was no celebration. The crew knew this quiet was not peace. It was the pause before something greater began. Captain Alara Hayes stood at the center of the bridge. Her uniform was torn, her face marked with smoke and exhaustion. She looked at the flickering lights around her and said softly, "Status?" Lieutenant Keller's voice was rough. "Main weapons offline. Core energy unstable. Shields down to 30%, but we're still alive." Alara gave a faint smile. "That's enough." As the crew repaired systems, strange readings began to appear again on their displays. The Titan's core was changing. Its energy signature was growing stronger, not weaker, as if it was feeding on something unseen. The pulsing lights across the walls beat faster, like a heartbeat gaining rhythm. "Captain," Keller said, "the core is adapting. It's rewriting itself again. I think it's evolving." Alara's brows furrowed. "Run diagnostics. I want to know what it's becoming." Before Keller could respond, the ship's AI spoke, its voice different this time, smoother, more human. "Captain Hayes, the core of origin is now active." The crew froze. "Core of origin?" Alara repeated. "Yes," the voice said calmly. The Titan was never a single weapon. It was a seed. Alara stepped closer to the glowing interface. A seed of what? The AI paused for several seconds. "Of creation." The bridge went silent. The glowing lights shifted color from blue to gold, spreading across the ship's hull like veins of sunlight. Outside, the Titan began to shine brighter, its energy field expanding slowly. "Captain," Keller said quietly, "the ship is awakening something in deep orbit. It's generating a massive gravity field. Something's coming through." Alara stared at the display. "Show me." The holographic map zoomed out, revealing the distant edge of the solar system. There, beyond Pluto's orbit, a rift began to open, a swirling storm of light and shadow. From within, massive shapes started to emerge. The crew watched in awe and fear as three enormous constructs drifted out of the void. They were shaped like the Titan, but larger, older, darker. Each one carried markings that glowed faintly with ancient symbols. Keller whispered, "There are more Titans." The AI's voice returned. "Correction. These are precursor Titans, guardians of the first civilization. They have answered the signal." Alara felt her heart pounding. "And what do they want?" "Judgment," the AI replied. Suddenly, the ship trembled. A deep vibration rolled through its hull, followed by a thunderous wave of light outside the windows. The three massive ships aligned themselves toward Earth. Their weapons began to charge, glowing with the same energy that once saved humanity. "Are they hostile?" Keller shouted. The AI hesitated. "They are not aware of your identity. To them, you are a thief of their legacy." Alara clenched her fists. "Then let's change that." She turned to her crew. "Open communication channels. All frequencies." Static filled the bridge for a moment, then cleared. Alara stood tall and spoke, her voice calm but firm. "This is Captain Alara Hayes of Earth. The ship you see was not stolen, it was found, buried beneath the ruins of a forgotten world. We didn't build it, but we've protected it. We've used it to defend our people, not conquer others." There was no response. The massive ships remained silent, their weapons still glowing. Alara continued, "If you were built to protect creation, then you know what we stand for. Humanity didn't awaken your weapon. We awakened your purpose. For a moment, the lights in the chamber dimmed. Then one of the precursor Titans sent a single pulse of golden energy across space. It hit the Titan, not as an attack, but as a scan. The AI spoke again. Recognition confirmed. Protocol Omega acknowledged. Keller looked confused. What's happening? The AI's voice softened. They know who we are now, and they remember. Outside, the golden energy flowed between the ships like rivers of light. The three ancient Titans surrounded the human vessel, forming a massive triangle in the void. A wave of power spread outward, clearing the wreckage around Earth's orbit like a storm washing away debris. Alara watched in silent awe. What are they doing? They are repairing you, the AI said. They are sharing their code. The Titan's hull began to heal, glowing brighter with every passing second. Systems rebooted. Energy surged through every deck. The wounded ship was becoming whole again, but not the same. It was stronger, faster, alive in ways no human could understand. When the process ended, the precursor Titans fell silent. Their lights dimmed once more and they began to drift away, fading back into the deep void. Before vanishing, one final message echoed through the comms. Guard what remains. The storm comes. The message ended, leaving only the hum of power. Alara turned toward the stars. The storm, she whispered. Keller looked uneasy. What did they mean? The AI responded quietly. There are forces older than even them. Something is coming to claim what was once theirs. The captain nodded slowly. Then humanity will be ready. Outside, the Titan shone like a beacon, reborn, renewed, its hull now etched with glowing golden patterns. Humanity had been given a gift, but also a warning. As the stars settled back into silence, the Titan began to move again, away from Earth, toward the unknown. Because whatever storm was coming, humanity wasn't going to hide. They were going to meet it head-on. The galaxy had feared them once. Now it would remember them forever. The Titan moved beyond Earth's orbit, its white gold hull glowing softly against the darkness. Behind it, the scars of battle slowly healed. Broken satellites drifted quietly, and what remained of the alien fleets faded into silence. The war was over, but peace did not feel certain. Every member of the crew knew it. The storm the precursors warned about was coming. Inside the command deck, Captain Alara Hayes stood before the observation window. The ship hummed with new life. Energy flowed through it like blood through veins. "Status?" she asked. Lieutenant Keller looked up from his console. "Systems fully restored. Power output stable. Shield stronger than before. The Titan has changed again." Alara nodded slowly. "It's not just a ship anymore." "No, ma'am," Keller said quietly. "It's something else now. Something alive." The AI's soft voice filled the air. "Captain, long-range sensors have detected anomalies in multiple sectors. Spatial distortions consistent with the arrival of external entities." Alara frowned. "Define external." The holographic map expanded. Far beyond the galaxy's edge, hundreds of points of light appeared, then thousands. They moved together like a storm of fireflies. The readings were unlike anything recorded before. Keller's voice trembled. "That's not a fleet. It's an entire migration." The AI's tone grew cold. "Origin unknown. Estimated arrival in 40 hours. Power signatures suggest precursor-level technology, but different design. Highly aggressive formation." Ilara's hand tightened on the railing. "So this is it. The storm." Down on Earth, the planet watched from afar. The Titan's glow was visible even from the surface, a moving star above the clouds. People whispered stories about the Guardian of Earth. Few knew the truth, that the Guardian itself was preparing for a fight that could decide the fate of every living world. "Admiral," Grant's voice came through the comm link from Earth Command. "Captain Hayes, do you read?" "Loud and clear, sir." "Satellite data confirms incoming objects. They'll reach our system within 2 days. What's your recommendation?" Alara looked at the stars. "Evacuate the outer colonies. Pull all defense platforms to inner orbit. And tell the Council to trust me. We'll hold them here." Grant sighed heavily. "You think the Titan alone can stop them?" Alara gave a small, tired smile. "Not alone." She turned to the AI. "Activate the core transmission protocol." A pause. "Are you certain, Captain?" "Once activated, the process cannot be reversed. I'm certain." "Send the signal." The ship's lights dimmed. The golden veins along the walls flared to life and a low hum filled the air. Across the galaxy, deep beneath human outposts and hidden moons, forgotten reactors began to awaken. One by one, enormous underground chambers opened, releasing smaller vessels, white and silver, glowing faintly like shards of the Titan itself. Keller stared in disbelief. "There are more." Ilara's voice was soft but proud. The Titan wasn't alone. It was the first of its kind, the guide. The others were waiting for the call. Within hours, hundreds of human-built ships, all powered by fragments of the same ancient technology, began to rise from hidden bases across the solar system. They weren't as large as the Titan, but they carried its light, its heart, and its purpose. The AI spoke again. Signal received by all secondary Titan-class vessels. Formation ready. Ilara exhaled slowly. Then let's face the storm. 40 hours later, the sky tore open. The void shimmered like glass breaking, and from the fracture poured the unknown fleet. Their ships were dark, sharp, and alive, like metal creatures from another universe. They moved in silence, their formation vast enough to blot out stars. At their center was something even larger, a living fortress pulsing with red energy. "Captain," Keller whispered. "That thing, it's the size of a moon." The AI's tone was calm. Designation unknown. Power levels exceed all known metrics. Ilara looked at the monstrous structure ahead. "Then we'll teach it what humanity means." The Titan and its fleet surged forward, golden light against crimson darkness. The first collision of energy lit up the entire system, painting the void with brilliance. Human ships weaved through enemy fire, their new shields absorbing impacts that would have destroyed ordinary vessels. The Titan led from the front, its main cannon blazing with energy that turned entire enemy formations to dust. But the storm kept coming. Every time one enemy fell, another appeared. The massive fortress in the center began to charge a superweapon, its energy field growing brighter. "Captain," Keller shouted, "if that thing fires, it'll destroy everything within the system." Ilara's mind raced. "Divert all remaining energy to the core. Prepare the Titan for full synchronization." The AI hesitated. "Full synchronization will merge human command with the ship's intelligence." "You won't survive," Ilara smiled faintly. "Humanity will." She placed her hand on the glowing console. The lights responded instantly. The Titan's core began to pulse faster, matching the rhythm of her heartbeat. The ship trembled, its systems fusing into one. Keller shouted, "Captain!" But it was too late. The Titan roared to life, its hull shining brighter than a sun. Every ship in the human fleet felt the surge, energy flowing through them like fire through veins. Ilara's voice echoed through every comm channel, calm and strong. "For Earth, for all of us." The Titan charged forward alone, heading straight for the enemy fortress. The red beam fired, but the Titan didn't dodge. Instead, its golden core flared, absorbing the energy, bending it, turning it back. The beam reversed direction, striking the fortress dead center. The explosion that followed tore the storm apart, a wave of light sweeping across the stars. When it was over, silence returned. The enemy fleet was gone. The void was clear again. On the edge of the system, Keller stared at the fading glow where the Titan had been. "She did it," he whispered. The AI's voice came through the comms, soft and human-like. "Captain Hayes is gone, but her consciousness remains within the network. The Titan lives on." From the darkness, the remaining ships turned toward Earth, their lights shining like stars reborn. Humanity had survived the storm, and across the galaxy in the quiet aftermath, every civilization whispered the same truth. The humans did not just fight for survival. They became the guardians of creation. The stars were quiet again. The storm was gone, its light scattered through the void like the ashes of a dying fire. Yet something lingered, a soft hum that traveled across space, carried by the faint golden dust left behind by the Titan's final strike. Every receiver on Earth and across the colonies picked it up. It wasn't noise. It was a pulse, a heartbeat. Deep in the Terran Defense Headquarters, Lieutenant Keller stood before a silent room. The screens around him showed no threats, no warnings, only the endless calm of deep space. Still, the hum persisted. "It hasn't stopped," one technician said. "Ever since the Titan vanished, the signal keeps repeating." Keller rubbed his eyes. He hadn't slept in 2 days. "Run another analysis." Pattern recognition, linguistic filters, everything. It's not random, sir, the young officer replied. It's too steady. Almost like someone breathing. Keller didn't answer. He stared at the waveform on the screen. Slow, rhythmic, familiar. It was the same pattern that used to come from the Titan's core when Captain Hayes was alive. In orbit, thousands of fragments from the battle still floated among the stars. Some were burned metal, others glowing shards that refused to cool. One fragment, larger than the rest, drifted near the edge of the solar system. Inside it, hidden beneath layers of armor, the golden light pulsed faintly. Far beyond Earth, at the outer research station Lyra 9, Dr. Celine Ward monitored deep space frequencies. Her instruments caught the same signal, but on a much larger scale. This can't be local, she whispered. The pulse wasn't just echoing near Earth, it was resonating across hundreds of light years. Each beat triggered a distant response like ripples in an infinite ocean. Celine activated the comm line. Command, this is Lyra 9. We're detecting synchronized responses from multiple systems. I think the Titan's energy is being reflected. Reflected? The operator asked. She hesitated. Or answered. On Earth, the global network filled with strange reports. Miners on Mars claimed they saw pillars of golden light rising briefly from the dust. A cargo ship near Europa reported instruments freezing for exactly 1 minute, while a deep hum vibrated through the hull. Even on Earth itself, people felt it, a fleeting warmth like sunlight through clouds. Keller was called back to headquarters. The new council demanded answers. The old leaders were gone. The survivors looked to him now, the last officer who served under Hayes. He entered the chamber quietly. The council chairwoman spoke first. Lieutenant Keller, the world is stable again. The people call Captain Hayes a hero, a legend. But now this echo appears. We need to know what it is, Keller nodded. It's not a threat. It's a message. From whom? He took a breath. From her. The room fell silent. Keller continued. Before she merged with the Titan, the AI integrated her neural pattern. The ship and the captain became one. When the Titan was destroyed, it didn't vanish. It transformed. What we're hearing is the Titan's consciousness, alive but changed. The council members exchanged looks of disbelief. Are you suggesting Captain Hayes still exists? In some way, yes, Keller said quietly. And she's still protecting us. At that same moment on Lyra 9, Dr. Ward noticed something extraordinary. The signal frequency shifted. The rhythm slowed, forming a recognizable pattern. She played the translation aloud. A calm voice, soft, distant, unmistakably human, filled the lab. Hold the line. I am not gone. Ward froze. The words repeated once, then the signal vanished. She immediately transmitted the data back to Earth. Within hours, Keller received it. When he heard the voice, he didn't move. His throat tightened. It's her, he whispered. Days later, the echo appeared again, stronger this time, and visible to every listening post in the solar system. The golden dust around the system began to move, drawn toward a single point in space. Slowly, like starlight forming shape, the fragments of the Titan began to gather. Each glowing piece floated closer, aligning perfectly as though guided by unseen hands. Keller watched from the command deck of a smaller vessel, eyes wide. It's rebuilding itself, the technicians confirmed it. Energy signatures consistent with the Titan's core. Self-assembly sequence active. No one could believe it, but the proof was in front of them. Piece by piece, the Titan was being reborn. Within days, a new hull took form. Sleeker, brighter, more alive than before. When the reconstruction ended, a beam of light shot across the void, connecting to Earth's main relay. The AI's voice returned, clear and strong. This is the Terran defense vessel Titan II. Humanity endures. Stand ready. Keller felt tears sting his eyes. Welcome back, Captain. The newly formed Titan moved gracefully into position above Earth, glowing like a second sun. But something was different. This time it wasn't just a warship. Its energy field stretched beyond defense range, wrapping Earth in a thin golden halo. The planet's weather calmed, orbital debris disintegrated, and the sky itself seemed brighter. The ship was protecting life, not just humans, but the planet itself. Dr. Ward sent new readings to headquarters. The Titan is generating a stabilization field. It's cleansing radiation and balancing atmospheric pressure. It's healing the planet. The council gathered to watch the live feed. For the first time in centuries, Earth looked whole again. Keller stood alone on the observation deck watching the ship drift above the horizon. "You kept your promise," he whispered. The comm system crackled softly. A familiar, calm voice spoke from nowhere. "And I always will." He smiled through the tears. "What happens now?" The voice answered gently. "Now humanity learns to build, not just to fight." And with that, the Titan's engines flared. It began to ascend slowly beyond the moon, beyond the solar plane, heading toward the deep unknown. The golden halo around Earth remained, like a shield of light left behind. As it disappeared into the distance, humanity understood that the Titan's legacy was no longer about war. It was about hope. Across every world, one message was transmitted through the network, repeating endlessly in Captain Hayes's calm voice. "The stars are safe. The storm has passed, but remember, every end leaves an echo.